Tonight, I'm diving headfirst into one of the most legendary Texas traditions out there. I crashed a Texas high school football game, and let me tell you, it was like stepping onto the set of Friday Night Lights, but even wilder. Welcome back to Lone Star Plate, where we go big, bold, and sometimes undercover to experience the real heart of Texas. Now, if you've never been to a Texas high school football game, you might think it's just about teenagers tossing a pigskin around. Wrong. In Texas, high school football is a full-blown spectacle, a weekly ritual where entire towns shut down, stadium lights blaze, and rivalries run deeper than the oil wells. I had to see it for myself, so I grabbed my camera, threw on a borrowed school t-shirt, and rolled up to a Friday night showdown between the hometown Tigers and their arch rivals, the Eagles. First off, the parking lot was packed like a state fair midway. People were tailgating with BBQ pits, folding chairs, and enough sweet tea to float a battleship. I got pulled into a pickup truck tailgate party where they handed me a brisket sandwich and asked, "Who you rooting for?" I just smiled and said, "Who's winning?" That got a big laugh and an extra scoop of potato salad. Smoke from the grills filled the air, and the smell of sizzling sausage and onions was impossible to resist. Kids tossed footballs between cars, and old-timers swapped stories about famous games from decades past. Walking into the stadium, the energy was electric. The stands were a sea of school colors, banners waving, face paint everywhere, and the band was blasting deep in the heart of Texas. I found a spot with the student section, and before I knew it, I was getting my face painted by a group of cheerleaders and learning the school's fight song. If you want to blend in, you got to go all in. The students had coordinated chants, and every big play had its own cheer. Between quarters, the mascot, a giant fuzzy tiger, danced through the stands giving high fives and posing for selfies. Kickoff came, and the place erupted. The crowd was louder than a rodeo, and every play got a reaction: cheers, groans, and the occasional referee booing. I sat next to a grandma who'd brought a cowbell and wasn't afraid to use it. She told me she'd been coming to games for 50 years and hadn't missed one since 1972. Talk about Texas dedication. She shared her stadium blanket and pointed out her grandkids on the field and in the band. Halftime was its own show. The marching band came out with a performance that would put some college bands to shame. Think precision formations, twirling flags, and a drumline that rattled your bones. The drill team sparkled, the cheerleaders flipped, and the homecoming court rode around in convertibles waving like royalty. The crowd stood for the alma mater, and you could feel the pride radiating from every corner of the bleachers. But the real action was back on the field. The game was close, tied up in the fourth quarter. The quarterback threw a Hail Mary pass with seconds left, and the stadium went absolutely bananas when the receiver dove, caught it, and scored the winning touchdown. I've never seen so many people hug, high-five, and scream at once. The PA announcer's voice cracked with excitement, and fireworks lit up the sky above the scoreboard. It was pure Texas magic. After the game, the players hoisted the coach on their shoulders, the band played the alma mater, and the whole town poured onto the field. I got invited to the after party at the local Dairy Queen, because in Texas, the celebration doesn't stop at the final whistle. There, families and players swapped stories, relived the best moments, and planned for next week's game. So, what did I learn from crashing a Texas high school football game? First, it's way more than just football. It's about community, tradition, and pride that runs generations deep. It's families, friends, and neighbors coming together under the lights, week after week, to cheer, laugh, and sometimes cry together. The sense of belonging is real, and the memories made on those Friday nights last a lifetime. And honestly, it's one of the most welcoming, high energy, and downright fun experiences I've ever had. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. And next time, I'm bringing my own cowbell. Thanks for coming along on this Friday night adventure. If you loved seeing the wild side of Texas football, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's your favorite high school memory, or what Texas tradition should I crash next? Until next time, keep your spirit loud, your heart proud, and your Friday nights Texas strong. This is Lone Star Plate, signing off and heading for a blizzard